Welcome back to another episode of Limitless MD, the podcast that's going to take you from good to extraordinary. We talk about biohacking and human optimization. We talk about mindset and self-development. We talk about financial freedom and, more importantly, financial abundance. We talk about becoming a student of the world, a nomad, a person who can work from anywhere and have location freedom. And finally, we talk about vitality and health freedom and taking your health and your life to that next level. So with that said, guys, I'm really excited about this episode. We're going to talk about the 17 principles of success. This was derived from my main man, Napoleon Hill, the godfather of self-development. He is a master, a maestro, an architect, a founder of this movement called self-development of mindset of motivation. And what he did was, in the early 1900s, he crafted these principles by interviewing the world's most successful people, including the famous Andrew Carnegie. And I want to take these 17 principles and ask you guys, are you living these? Are you applying these? How many of these do you have in your life? And I would say a direct correlation of your success in life is how many of these principles are part of your DNA. What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? My name is Vikram Raya, functional cardiologist, high performance coach, and real estate expert. And I'm here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life so you can unlock your limitless potential and achieve greatness, all the while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in. So with that said, let's start with the first one, definiteness of purpose. What does that mean? That means you have a major purpose in your life. You're not a ship without a sail, just wandering aimlessly in the bay or harbor. You actually live a directed and a scripted life. You're going toward a goal, an MTP, a major transformative purpose. And your life has meaning, and there's a journey that's purposeful. So if you have that, that will ensure success. Number two, a mastermind. The principle of mastermind has been around for, thousands of years. It's essentially a group of like-minded individuals that are coming together to propel the common goals of the group forward. And so these are like-minded individuals who are high performers, and usually they're sharing best practices, knowledge, advice, counsel, and you can lean upon them and to learn and grow. And they're usually people of the same level. They're your peers, and they don't necessarily have to be friends, but they're definitely people you respect. And there's several examples of this, but the mastermind principle is really where there's four people in the group, but all together there's like this fifth voice that comes because of the synergy of all the people. And it's a very powerful thing that successful people have been doing for decades and hundreds of years. Okay, next is applied faith. You must have faith to be successful because essentially you're taking a figment of your imagination, a thought, and you're converting that over time into a reality, something you can hold in your hand. If you can think in your mind, you can hold in your hand, right? But how does that happen? You have to have faith, and you have to apply that faith consistently. And, we can call it unwavering faith, if you will. But it's without a doubt knowing that there'll be trials, tribulations, setbacks, and falls on that road to that manifestation, but you're not slowing down. You're not pulling back. You're going until, right? And so that's called applied faith. Next is going the extra mile. The person who came up with the KFC restaurants, right? The Colonel, if you will, he had this recipe for fried chicken, and he was relatively okay, doing fine in his 30s, 40s, 50s. But at 65, when the industry was changing, his chicken recipe, he went to I think I don't know, 50 locations, franchises to sell his recipe. And finally, the 60th one said yes. And he was able to, do that. And that became that Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise. And it was that perseverance that really made it happen. Same thing with Walt Disney. Walt Disney was turned down by, I think, so many banks. And finally, like by persevering and persisting, he got the bank to say yes to his dream of creating Disney World. So going the extra mile is the fourth principle of success. Next is a pleasing personality. If you're a turd, if you're, an a-hole, then no one's going to want to work with you, right? Having a charismatic, pleasing personality that people want to be around is very important for success. And I think that's pretty self-sufficient in that concept. Personal initiative. No one's going to come save you guys. You're going to have to save yourself. That means you're going to have to take that initiative yourself to keep moving forward. And, expecting others to, swoop in and save you, to help you. Great. People can help you along the way, but it's your own personal initiative that is really the foundation for success and the engine for success, if you will. Next, number 7 is a positive mental attitude, right? You can have a negative mental attitude. You can have a positive mental attitude. Both are your choice. Which one you think will serve you more? The positive mental attitude is great. People who are, again, this is part of the pleasing personality in a way, but having this attitude that, I can do it. I must do it. I will do it. I will be a success. Life is good. The universe is benevolent versus, sinister. These are just choices in your mind to make, and you can believe you can look at the world through rose-colored glasses or, dark-colored glasses, but just making that intentional choice for that positive slant on life will yield sort of bountiful rewards by you choosing that. Next is enthusiasm, right? And some of these are sort of corollaries, they overlap, but we can talk about it. Enthusiasm. There's people who are successful, but they're not as necessarily enthusiastic. The people who are enthusiastic are sometimes more successful, or they're consistently more successful. Enthusiasm is infectious. You can, I'll give you an example. The person, there's a movie called Life is Beautiful. It's about this guy, and the actor, I think, is Roberto Benigni. I believe was actor, but he played this character in this movie where they were going to a concentration camp during the Nazis during World War II, and he wanted to make sure his family didn't suffer, and so he made it all a game. He made it fun, and he was showing so much enthusiasm for his children that they didn't feel the true weight and the gravity of what was happening. Right? They were actually their food was being rationed. They were, people were being slaughtered, and it was all a game for his children because he made it a game. And that enthusiasm and joy is like amazing. And when he was getting his Oscar award for Best Actor, he literally jumped up on stage. He was so enthusiastic, so happy, and literally that's how he lives his life as an actor, even. And it was so infectious and so charming and so amazing to see. And that's the kind of life you want to do. You want to just have this joy that's just exuding out of your pores. And sometimes it's hard to do always, but the more you can harness that and give that to the world, the more you'll be successful. All right. Next one, number 9, self-discipline, right? Discipline is usually a bad word in most people's dictionaries. They say discipline is restrictive. Discipline is controlling. It's not allowing for spontaneity, for freedom. But actually, here's the truth. And it may seem like a paradox, but it's not. Jocko Willink, one of my mentors, who's a former Navy SEAL, says this: discipline equals freedom. That's right. Discipline equals freedom. Why do you say that, Vic? Well, think about it this way. If you create all the necessities in life that you want to accomplish and you create those into your schedule, then all the other free time you have, because you've created, the musts are getting done. So all the shoulds or the get tos or the I would love to have space to live and breathe. And so by actually having the discipline in your life, you'll actually create more freedom and more joy. And you'll create more self-respect because you're saying things in your mind that you're going to do and you're actually doing them. All right. We're chugging along here, my friends. We went from 1 to 9 and now number 10, accurate thinking. What is accurate thinking? Let me share with you how I think about accurate thinking. There's two ways, right? Think about it. You can over analyze, or you can under analyze the situation. And you don't want either. You want to actually think about it's not better than it is. It's not worse than it is. It's actually my reflection of what I'm seeing is pretty accurate. So over analysis is basically you're overconfident. Over analysis is what we call analysis paralysis. So analysis paralysis is essentially you get to the point where there's either there's too many choices or too much knowledge, and you have a difficulty making decision. And that paralysis of that decision can allow you to miss out on very powerful opportunities. So I guess what you want to do is, you sort of want to be, there's a graph and it's like going down, down, down as more choices happen. But after a certain number of choices, you don't need any more choices. You just need to decide and move forward, because as more choices happen, it's hard for you to make that decision. That's called paradox of choice. On the converse is a concept called under analysis, right? You get overconfident, and there's 4 stages of this kind of thinking, and I'll briefly state it. There's unconscious incompetence, right? You don't know what you don't know, and you're not aware of anything else. Then there's conscious incompetence, meaning, oh my God, I don't look at all the stuff I don't know, and now you become aware of it. Then there's conscious competence. You've worked hard enough to where you're actively using your mind to achieve a certain result, but it's requiring a lot of energy and time because it's still new to you, and you haven't mastered the skills yet. And finally, you end with unconscious competence, where, man, I can drive a car, stay on the phone, eat a sandwich, and talk to my neighbor all at the same time, right? Because I know that driving a car is now second nature to me, or hitting that golf ball is second nature, or doing those math problems, man, I can do in my sleep. So it takes a journey to get to that. Now, the under analysis comes when you get overconfident in stage 1, when you're unconscious incompetence. And so you have to just be very wary where you make decisions with limited information and not knowing the true scope of things. Okay. So over under analysis, we just talked about that. That's the accurate thinking concept. Next is controlled attention. And the way to think about it is this, don't chase all those shiny objects, right? There's only the mighty few versus the trivial many. So focus on the few things that will get you the most results. Again, similar to the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of the results, 20% of your actions get you 80% of the results. So laser focus on those 20, and then procrastinate intentionally on the other 80%. Teamwork, right? I really believe in many aspects of life, in business, and in how we structure, the roles we have. A team is essential. I built a multi-$100 million real estate company, and I did that because I had a team. I built a functional medicine clinic, and I had a team to do that. I'm doing this podcast. I can never do it by myself. I have amazing people who help me. My family, that's a team, right? In a way, your kids, your wife, or whoever is in your family. I have a team of mentors, a tribe of mentors who pour into me, and then now I get to pour out to you guys. So everything is because I've stood on the shoulders of giants, right? And so a team is essential. So learning to find a good team, creating a team, a synchronized team, a synergized team, right? A complementary team of different skill sets is highly important. Again, that's number 12 to being successful. 13, learning from adversity and defeat. Failure is not final, it's formative, right? I got this from Payal, who is the CEO and founder of ClassPass. We're at a conference together, and she was giving a keynote presentation on how she created this company out of scratch, and in 5 years it became $1 billion valuation. and she said, really, data and success are nothing but just failure and success are nothing but just data points. And so if you just look at that, you can just build on these things. So adversity and defeat are part of the process versus an alternative course of how outcomes should happen. No, you build on those things, right? Failure is just feedback, and you stack on those failures to achieve your ultimate success. And if you don't have the failures, in fact, a lot of times success is hollow, or it's transient because it's not earned, and the foundation is not strong. So I really believe in adversity and defeat as the stepping stones for success. All right, guys, we're coming down to the last few. Creative vision. What is that? In life, you need to envision what you want. And there's a process called visioneering, creative visualization, where you do a mind map, you do a vision board, you write out in your journal, how do you want your life to be? And having that vision is essentially you're creating the future before it happens. And you're sending that out into the universe, you're sending it to the world, you're declaring what you want, and your subconscious mind starts working, your reticular activating system starts working, and you start manifesting that. And it's not airy-fairy. It's more like, you're more attuned to certain things because the destination is clear, right? Clarity creates power, right? And then progress creates happiness. So as you're making these iterative small steps toward this goal, this vision you've created, you're going toward that, where you're going. There's some detours, and it's usually not a straight line, but you can see the vision, and again, the goal is eventually to manifest that. And in life, there's a visionary and there's an integrator sometimes in any company, and you need both. So it's good to have the vision, but you also need to execute on the vision as well. All right. Number 15, maintenance of sound health. As a cardiologist, as a physician, as a functional medicine doctor, as a biohacker, I find this to be absolutely essential. This is the horsepower that's going to drive the vehicle for your success in life, in business, in health, in your relationships. You need sound health, and I would say, excellent and outstanding health, right? I want you to essentially have energy to burn. You're like firing on all cylinders. You have your neurotransmitters in check. Your hormones are ready to go. Your cardiovascular strength is powerful, right? Your muscles are primed and ready. Your core is strong. Your sleep is optimized, and imagine, and your nutrition is enriching. Having all this together in a synergistic way, boom, nothing can stop you on this earth. All right. Number 16, budgeting time and money. Overspending or underspending are both criminal, right? If you overspend, then essentially you have no money for the things that matter, that are going to move your life forward. If you underspend, then you're being too cheap, and being cheap is actually expensive. Right? I got that from one of my friends. He says being cheap is expensive. So if you're cheap on your education, cheap on coaching, cheap on things that are going to up-level your life, cheap on things that are going to give you joy, right, and meaning, then you're actually robbing yourself of really the elixir of life. And so be targeted with your spending, right? Don't overspend, don't underspend, but spend on things that matter, that are going to move the needle forward. Also invest, and then be careful. As you budget your time, money, and energy. Okay. And finally, guys, number 17, right? We're wrapping it up here. You guys excited? This is it. Your habits define your life. Several books on this. Obviously, one of my favorites is by James Clear, Atomic Habits. Phenomenal book. But really, look, habits are automatic. The question is, what are these habits serving you, or are they, are they causing you to have problems, right? Or are they holding you back? So create these powerful habits. Another book I love is called Og Mandino, The Greatest Salesman in the World. It talks about habit formation as well. But really, I've installed these behaviors, these meta programs called habits in my body, in my life, and now it's almost automatically inching my life forward toward the success, toward the envisioned life that I'm looking for. So build these programs out, and you can never delete a habit. It's almost like you have to replace it. It's hard to delete habits. You can replace them, right? And that's what you need to do. And we all have habits we want to continue to improve upon, and we have habits we need to sort of eliminate or just reduce. And so having that awareness in life, that introspection, and that inner compass, so you know what's going right, what's going wrong, and what you need to improve, is really the critical piece to success. Okay. And with that, my friends, you guys can become truly limitless. You got the 17 principles of success. I've broken them down to you in detail, maybe more than detail than you wanted, but I hope it serves you. Let's keep accelerating. Let's keep going. And this is Vikram Raya, your host for Limitless MD. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramraya.com. So until next time, my friends, be phenomenal.